Ciao, I'm Mario, the Swiss car guy on YouTube, and today I'm standing in my basement, more exactly in the heating room, because I have a few days off work right now, and when I have days off work that means usually doing work on the house. And since it's 30 degrees C outside, so it's pretty hot, I figured it would be a good idea to work down here in the cool basement. And what I want to work on is behind me, something that has bothered me for a while, because you see back there, behind those boards, there is the old hot water buffer from the old heating. The house had a wood burning heating, so the fire would heat the water would go into the reservoir, and then it would circulate through the whole heating system. But since I've changed to a heat pump, I didn't need that large buffer, so I left it in there. I didn't pay for it to be removed because they weren't, I think they wanted around $2,000 for it, and I figured maybe I can do it myself, and this is what I'm going to attempt today. So I'm going to remove these boards, and then I will see what's behind it. I already know that there is some, I think some fiberglass wool insulation, so I have to suit up and everything because I don't want the whole fibers everywhere. So I will suit up, I will try to remove it all because I want to see that buffer, because I actually don't know how large it is. I know there is like an exit port at the bottom and one at the top, but I don't know if the buffer is this high or if it just has piping in there that actually just feeds a very small buffer, because when I was heating, I figured the heat wouldn't last long, so I would have to fire every day, and a large buffer means you could maybe only fire every 2 days or something like that, but I fear it's a large buffer. And the other thing I have, once I see what it is, I don't even know what it's made of. Is it made of metal? Is it made of fiberglass? Because my goal is to remove it, to be able to take it out completely from there, but I don't even know if it will fit through the door, because I'm pretty sure it was installed first and then the walls, these brick walls here, will build around it. So I might have to, take it down to pieces, cut it up or something, but first I need to know what it is. So I think we're going to go into a montage of me basically undoing everything, which will most likely take way longer than I anticipated, and then we'll go from there. Whew. All right, I got most of the planks off that covered the buffer, and I have to say I have underestimated how much insulation there is, but it's obvious because it's a hot water buffer. It must be insulated from all sides. So there is a plethora of fiberglass wool, of rock wool. I'm just filling it into garbage bags because this is going to be disposed, of course. And I suited up, but my suit is like a size too small. That's why my arms are already itching. The rest is okay so far. But this job will be a lot harder than I thought, especially since this buffer it's solid metal. Looks like quite thick too. It's probably alone, it will weigh like 200 kilos, so I don't think I'll be able to just transport it out. I must have to cut it up. So first I need to remove the whole rest of the insulation, the remaining planks that sort of are obstructed by pipes and stuff, and then I will see what I do with the stupid buffer, which is, I would say 3 meters high. Yeah. Because I'm 1.83 m, and this looks like almost another Mario, so it's about 3 meters. Yeah. But first I need to take off the remaining planks and see how I do that. And then I will remove all this material. Look at all that rock wool there. It will all fall down. What do I do with this? And more fiberglass wool. It's going to be a lot more work than I thought. And also, I'm very sweaty because I'm wearing plastics. Okay, it's a couple of days later. By a couple of days later, I mean it's like 1.5 weeks later, because I started that one day. I removed most of the insulation. I filled 20 110 liter bags of insulation, and then I started cutting out pieces to see if I could cut it out. And I tried the angle grinder, which worked but was messy, and then I used the Sawzall with this cheap AliExpress blade. That worked quite well, so I think I will dismantle that 8mm steel tank with the Sawzall, but not with this AliExpress blade, which actually worked quite decently. No, I bought this Bosch Expert, which is tungsten carbide technology. This is a carbide blade. It should be much more durable. It should cut this very well because it says extra thick, tough material. It says thick, tough metal. So I think this is good, and it's also shorter, so it allows me to cut in the border regions without hitting the wall. So I will definitely use this. I hope I charged my batteries. I did. Good. So let's get this on. First I need to get this off. Okay, this is off. Let's get the new one out. Short and stubby. Where have I seen that already? Okay, let's put this on. So this is nice and short. This should do just what I need. So let's put on some gloves, ear protection, and let's start cutting. Ow, this is chipping quite heavily, so I should definitely use glasses because this thing chips like crazy, but it also cuts really well. The only thing is, how do I make a turn with this thing? Can it cut a curve? Ow! Damn, these chips hurt. I'm gonna get at least some eye protection. My arm is not protected, but it'll survive. I might still have to use the angle grinder to do like fresh cuts into the material, like the horizontal ones, because this I will never be able to make a curve. I need a little bit of a ladder or something. For now, this is enough. Let's see if I can do a round cut with this thing. The good thing about this saw that I can use the blade in different orientations, I believe. Damn, this hurts like hell. Ow. This is a very coarse blade, that's why it chips everywhere and it hits me in the face. So I might have to use the angle grinder at least for a bit. Okay, now I'm fully through. Now I can do the vertical cut, no, the horizontal cut. That's so painful. Ow! One piece is out. Okay, I will go wear a jacket now, and I will stop recording audio for that, so see you later. Day 3, and finally the thing is out of the room there. And it has taken more than I thought it would take. And I didn't want to cut it up too much because it takes so much time. I burned through so many discs and blades, so I figured I leave it as high as it would fit through the door, because width-wise it wouldn't fit, but height-wise it would. So my idea was to flip it on its side and then get it through the door. But that proved to be very difficult, because even when I managed to lift it with the help of an electric winch, it wouldn't stay on its side, it would always come down, and I couldn't figure out why until I quickly made a few calculations, because the base plate of this thing is 25mm steel, 1m50 by 1m50, so the base plate alone weighs around 450 kilograms. So no wonder it didn't want to stay on its side and always fell back. So I did something more elaborate. So I pulled it out, I took the door out, the door is back there somewhere. Then I pulled it in front, I got my reach truck, my pallet stacker, through the door as far as it would get. I chained up through a few holes that are back there, and then I hoisted it up until it was sideways enough that I could drag it through the door, and so I got it out. And now I just have it back here on this pallet, and I need to dispose of it. But to my surprise, I figured the whole tank would be like 300 kilograms of metal or something like that. And by recalculating, it turns out it's almost 1.5 tons. The other pieces are outside. I cut them up and I put them on another pallet. But this is 1.5 tons of steel, so I might even get some money for it when I go to recycle it. So I have to get rid of it, but for now it's in the garage, meaning here I can get my pallet stacker and just drive it out and load it into a truck, and it's not an issue anymore that I can get it through the door. But now this is done, I have the space there. There is still some remnants of the, I think plaster that they used to attach all the insulation, but I got the insulation mostly out. I filled, I reckon 23 or 24 110 liter bags. And when I point it that way, I point that way because it's that way. There they are. Well, they're not all of them, some are still in the heating room, but my trash bag's full of insulation that I have to dispose of, but I need the truck for that. But now I have this space that I can do something with it. So it's not useless space used up by a water buffer that I do not need anymore. It's just this thing here. And a lot of things can fit here. So there we have it, a quick video about a quick task that ended up taking me 3 days of work. But I still think it was worth it. If I had hired a company to do it, it would probably have cost me 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 grand. And this way I saved some money, and I should get some money for the scrap metal. So I think at least getting rid of the insulation material will be free, because this thing, I think I might get about $200 worth of scrap metal value, so enough to also throw away the scrap wood and whatever I got in there. So at least it didn't cost me anything, just my time and possibly my health, because I inhaled so much stuff. I mean, I use a respirator, but it's so difficult, and I got so dirty, and I even scraped myself. Good thing that I think my tetanus vaccine is still active, still good. Otherwise, this might have been the last thing I did. But anyway, this was just a quick video about me doing some work on the house, which is the reason I don't do videos about cars, because the house takes time. And what do you think of my work? Would you have done it the same? I think the work with the reach truck where I got it out of the door was very sketchy, but that chain held. I bought quite a sturdy chain when I bought it, and I think it was worth it. So it could lift this, which I think might be 600 kilos, and it didn't budge. It did a good job. But anyway, would you have done it the same? Comment down below. Also, like this video if you liked it. Share it with people who are in the same predicament. They have a gigantic water buffer in their house, which is way overbuilt and wider than the door. I think nobody will have this problem. Anyway, this is enough. The video was long enough. This has taken me forever. So thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.